Hello, friends. It is Saturday, July 19th, and let's talk about COVID because it seems like our summer wave has taken off like a rocket. Nationally, wastewater shows that COVID is in the high category. Nothing else is. The highest concentration sites are in Alaska, California, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Iowa, Louisiana, New York, and Texas. Well, Nimbus is definitely in the mix. That's MB 1.8.1. In the US, at least, the biggest growing variants are LP 8.1 and XFG, otherwise known as Stratus. Where it's rising, it is rising. Florida is leading the way. California is really high overall, but the Bay Area in particular is 1 in 40, making the current wastewater levels higher than the last winter's peak. Los Angeles, too, is as high as it was last September. New York and New Jersey have their highest one-week COVID positivity spike since January of 2022. Does anyone remember what was happening then? That would be Omicron. Hawaii has also been surging for weeks. And it's not just wastewater that's showing us this. Emergency room visits have also been rising across the Southeast and the Pacific Northwest, and are the highest they have been since February and March of this past year. For all of those who keep saying, but kids aren't affected, COVID-related emergency department visits for kids aged 0 to 11 are at the highest they've been since last August or September in California, Florida, Texas, and Hawaii. They have also consistently been the second highest group, only below 75 plus, because they're the least vaccinated group and the most constantly exposed. Walgreens has reported its highest COVID-19 positivity rate since September, and it is rapidly rising. Nationwide, 1 in 148 Americans are actively infectious and rising, which means that we're at 2.3 million infections per week, resulting in greater than 100,000 new long COVID conditions and more than 800 deaths. Yes, every single week, still in 2025. It looks like our transmission is most closely mirroring the one that we had in 2023, so worse than this point in 2020 or 2021, and better than this point in 2022 or 2024. But something that I would remind you about for 2023 is if we stay on this trend, 2023 was a year where we went into the school year with a really high wave. So we had lots and lots of back to school illness. If we continue to follow that trend, we're looking at a peak in cases in late August or early September when the majority of the kids in the US go back to school, which is not great, especially considering that the FDA leadership overruled staff scientists on fully recommending the COVID-19 vaccine for children. JFK wants to remove the recommendation that children and pregnant women get it, but kids absolutely do experience long COVID. Up to 15% of the kids under 6 met the criteria for probable long COVID, with many of their symptoms lasting for more than a year. It is now the most common chronic illness in children, surpassing asthma. Yes, you heard that right. And if you're pregnant or thinking about becoming pregnant, you want to be extra vigilant about getting a COVID infection in utero, because multiple studies have shown that a maternal COVID infection during pregnancy has a long impact on childhood development. At 24 months in this study, 36% of the infants exhibited cognitive delays, 64% had communication delays, and 57% had motor delays. So when I see headlines like this that blame the developmental delays that we're seeing in kindergartners on lockdowns that happened for 3 months, 5 years ago, before most of these kids were born, it becomes painfully clear to me that this let it rip, take no precautions, don't vaccinate pregnant mothers is having a big impact on our children, something that we are seeing happen in real time. And the reality is that we're seeing it on the other end of the spectrum too. Because when I say that COVID is a neurotropic vascular illness, I mean exactly that. We might think of it as being a respiratory illness and desperately want it to be a cold, but it's not. It damages every part of our body, including our brains, even when those brains are developing in utero. So no, it's not a cold, it's not a flu, it's still very dangerous, and at this moment we have a wave that's building that will likely make the rest of the summer significantly more dangerous than the past couple of months. If you've gotten lax on masking, now is the time to bring it back up. If you haven't had a vaccine in a long time, you might want to look at getting another one. I don't know if we'll have updated ones in the fall. With what's going on at the FDA and with ACIP, I have no words. At this point, we've all been left to our own devices, so do the best that you can to protect yourself. Wear a mask, improve ventilation anywhere you can, stay home when you're sick, stay as up-to-date on your vaccines as you can. Swiss cheese model approach is the name of the game. No one layer is going to be enough to help you, but multiple layers is our best strategy forward. Stay safe, stay sane, and I'll keep updating you as much as I can.